Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. And today we've got a triple action, 3-tank perspective battle on steps for you in the AC4 experimental Tier 6 Premium. Technically British, but actually it's an Australian medium tank. These replays were sent in by MaxwellSRG. He's a Twitch live streamer and a YouTuber, and I've played with him before. He often joins circumflexes on his live streams. But Max has never sent me a replay before, and today, over Skype, he sent me 3, so I thought, well, this has got to be worth a look, and yep, it was. It's not really so much about Maxwell himself, although, well, he has a pretty lousy first half of this match, but he makes up for it in the second half of this game. It's the platoon as a whole. 3 AC4 experimental Sentinels. There's Max in his. I love the names of these guys, by the way. Mitsutayo in his, and I be the one true nub in his. This is a Tier 7 maximum game on steps. This is a Tier 6 premium medium tank, and we're going to be completely honest here, it's not a very good premium Tier 6 medium tank. It's got a good gun, it's got that 17-pounder, and Max is using it here to troll his platoon mates at the beginning of the game. The gun, however, is really the only good thing about the AC4 experimental Sentinel. It's basically a Tier 6 gun on a Tier 4 tank. It's kind of slow. Don't let the posted 60 km/h top speed fool you. This tank has a very weak engine, and it's only ever going to see that top speed if it's going downhill. The armour is kind of bad as well. This is basically the Tier 4 AC1 Sentinel with Tier 6 hit points and a Tier 6 gun. Other than that, there's not much difference between this thing and the Tier 4 version of this tank. It's not very good, which is what makes the result of this battle all the more remarkable, particularly considering they've already had one of their top tier, fully upgraded heavy tanks knocked out, T-29, in a Tier 7 battle, and he's already dead. How do you screw that up? Maxwell, using the 17-pounder at long range, but, well, he's hoping to catch enemy tanks as they head down into the cap circle across the open ground, but they're all being very cagey and getting into the low ground as soon as possible, so Maxwell's pretty much got nothing to shoot at. So we're going to swap to the perspective of Nub and Mitsu, working on the principle that if the enemy team are rushing to get into the low ground, they're not going to be loitering and shooting back at them. Nub and Mitsu have both pushed very aggressively across the open ground to the south and have managed to block the enemy team from getting into the cap circle here, in company with a friendly Cromwell. And now they're in a position to start shooting up some enemy tanks. Now this is going to be dangerous because the Sentinel doesn't have particularly good gun depression, but if they can focus their fire, and oh dear, cruelty to small tanks, well, there's the first kill for the platoon. Mitsu just nailed a looks, and he's taking shots from that Cromwell, but they've decided to focus the Cromwell down. The Cromwell is now starting to look very, very vulnerable, and Mitsu gets the second kill for the platoon. They keep going. Panzer IV's next. Nub kills him. Mitsu's going for the Type T-34. He uses the hill to get some speed up. He's going for the ram. The Type T-34's backing off, trying to avoid it. Bounces his shot. He gets the ram anyway and manages to get shot in the fuel tank and almost set on fire by the friendly Cromwell behind him, who was trying to shoot through him to get to the Type T-34. Cromwell's gun's got decent penetration, but it's not quite that good. And lo and behold, a lonely Tog. This poor guy has nowhere to go. He just too slow to get involved in the fight, and now he's too slow to get away. So Mitsu and Nub are basically shooting this Tog up, and it's Nub who gets the kill. So that's 3 kills for Mitsu, 2 for Nub. What's Maxwell been doing while these two guys have been slaughtering everybody on the enemy team over on the eastern end of the map? Let's just go back and see. At around about the point where Mitsu was claiming his first kill, Maxwell's realised that he's just not going to be able to shoot anything down in the low ground over there, so he puts the pedal to the metal and he tries to get around up on the flank on the high ground to shoot down into these tanks, and he manages to get here just in time to do no damage whatsoever to the Type T-34 when into his tracks. But there's a Tog that you can shoot at, and he aims, and the Tog misses him, and he misses the Tog. Don't worry, that pattern is going to repeat itself for a while. Jingles, why are you giving poor Max such a hard time? Well, you see, I'm from Newcastle, so I'm a Geordie. And Max is from Sunderland. He's a Mackem. And Geordies and Mackems hate each other. So And he's missed him again. Oh, but he's managed to get ammo racked by a Stuart and Mill. Gonna have to repair that. And yeah, he couldn't get any damage done on the Tog either. Any opportunity I get to show Max up, I'm gonna take. Because of the rivalry between our two hometowns. Anyway, Stuart and Mill hit him. Took nearly half of his health off and damaged his ammo rack. And where is he? He was over there. There he is. Right, come on Maxwell. Let's get some revenge. There he is. There he is. There he is. He hasn't seen you. And Maxwell's finally done some damage. Good boy. Well done. Now that Stuart Mill is in a lot of trouble with all these mediums chasing him down. He's got a 105mm gun. He would have done around 500 damage to Max if he had the 128. But even with a faster rate of fire, he's just not going to be able to fire fast enough and tank enough damage with all these mediums closing in on him. I'm switching to Mitsu's perspective here because he's out on the flank and he's got a much, much better perspective. Now Max has just scored his one and only hit. The Stuart Mill has got Nub at point blank range. He's missed him and he's going to be dead before he can reload. Mitsu scored one hit, Nub scores another, and Mitsu claims his 4th kill. Now at this point there's still not an awful lot in it. There's only a 2-kill difference between the two teams, and that's when AMX-12T suddenly appears, and Mitsu, with 257 health remaining, cannot get involved in a fair fight with an AMX-12T. And it's not just the AMX-12T. Here comes the rest of the enemy team. The 12T spotted him, they're all shooting at him, he thinks, screw this, and he runs into concealment, gets himself into the low ground, and he looks for friendly tanks. Never underestimate the value of teamwork. Gives the enemy something else to shoot at. And that's pretty much exactly what he's hoping to do here. Managed to score a hit on the 12T with auto aim as he was running away. The Cromwell's opening up on him as well. Still trying to get the kill on that 12T, but while he's aiming at this guy, the 12T is spotting him, and there's an IS over there, and that's almost finished him off. Took a direct hit in the side from the IS. That is less than good. So he cannot afford another hit from just about anything left on the enemy team. And they are capping, and they've managed to pull the scores back to 7-6. He can still kill this 12T though for his 5th kill. It's going to take 2 shots. Pops up, slaps one into him, pulls back. Doesn't want to sit there letting him shoot back at him while he reloads. He's reloaded, got him, and well, no chance of a top gun from Mitsuzayo. Knocked out by enemy artillery. Meanwhile, Ivy the one true nub and a lot of the other mediums on the team are all the way over the other end of the map, checking out the last reported positions of what's left on the enemy team. But what's actually happened here is that those enemy tanks that were spotted over here have long since circled all the way around to the south and over to the east, and just about the entire enemy team is rushing the cap circle. And that's bad news for the tanks on the friendly team, like Mitsuzayo, who's about to get nailed, because they're effectively outnumbered 2-1 up there in the top northeast corner of the map. So that means, well, for now, Nub, the T-34 and the T-43 are all hopelessly out of position and playing catch-up and trying to get over there to the cap circle before it's too late. So, while he's doing that, what's Maxwell been up to? Well, he hasn't been idle. He's been taking shots at enemy tanks. He hasn't been hitting them. Missed the AMX not once, but twice. To be fair, it was long range and it wasn't fully aimed. Shortly afterwards, he's managed to work his way up onto the flank. Now, Mitsu's still alive at this point, but not for much longer. You can see the 12T going into the low ground there to get him. Now, there's an IS and an ONI over there, and he's loaded the skill and derps that shot into the ground, misses the ONI, manages to do some damage to the IS, but that's an IS and an ONI, and they both have very, very big guns, and yes, Maxwell just lost all of his health. Still got the skill loaded, and he's pumping whatever shots he can into the front of that IS and thinking, guys, I'm feeling very, very lonely and exposed over here. Mitsu's dead now. Checking around to see where the rest of the team are coming. Help is still a fair old distance away. Nub has still to cross the open ground and get over here. And that Oni is looking like he really, really wants to om-nom-nom on the Sentinel. He managed to penetrate. The Oni's fired and missed. How many shots is he going to get into him before that guy reloads? That one's penetrated. He's still coming. He's still coming. Guys, oh, it bounced, but one true nub arrives and saves the day, killing the Oni. So Maxwell breathes a sigh of relief there because that Oni was definitely going to have him. The cavalry has arrived. And not a second too soon, because every remaining tank on the enemy team is in that cap circle, and that's a lot of tanks that need to be hit and reset. And this is where the T-34 YOLOs right into them, and he gets wasted instantly, but every enemy tank in that cap circle turned their guns to fire at him, which allowed everybody else, not Max of course, he fully aimed and managed to miss, but that did allow everybody else to get some serious cap resetting done. And Max actually gets his first kill on Bert the Avenger. Meanwhile, Nub hasn't been idle either. Saving Maxwell's scrubby ass from being crushed under the treads of the Oni was Nub's third kill. Even if Max was to get another 2 kills, they still couldn't get a Brothers-in-Arms because sadly Mitsu's dead, but they can still get a crucial contribution. So, OI experimental. He takes a hit from the Churchill. Churchill's on low health, kills the Churchill. There's Max killing the FV-304. Now he's got his sights set on the AMX-13 F3 artillery, while Max is busy working over the IS down there. And the IS doesn't really seem to know which tank to shoot at. One more shot and he should get the artillery. Bingo, there's his 6th kill and his top gun. Maxwell, can you get the IS? Oh yes he can, there's Maxwell's 2nd kill. That just leaves the last remaining IS on the enemy team, and Maxwell's out of position, so it's going to be a race between the T-43 and Nub in the AC-4 Sentinel to see who can get him. Nub using the ridge here to protect himself from that IS. Now he may only have the 85mm gun, but it's pointing this way, and that allows the T-43 to get an unchallenged first shot in, but Nub still manages to sneak one into him. And another. T-43's come around, he's harassing him at short range, and Maxwell goes in over the top. Nub's shot bounces, but Maxwell sets him on fire. Going for the cheeky kill steal, but it's not quite enough, and Nub manages to secure the kill. 7 kills, and that's a crucial contribution for the platoon. Now, despite a pretty dismal first half performance from Maxwell, that was actually a first-class mastery badge. He really pulled it back towards the end of the game. The platoon finished in the top 3 positions. They actually scored 14 kills between the 3 of them. Only one other tank on their team managed to kill anything, with Maxwell personally finishing 2nd on damage done. A kind of a disappointing, well, relatively disappointing. It was still a 3rd place result for Mitsuzayu, who had a very, very strong start, but unfortunately got killed halfway through the game. He finished 3rd on damage done, and that was also a first-class mastery badge for Mitsuzayu. But the true MVP of the match turned out to be, ironically enough considering his name, I Be the One True Nub, who did 2,200 damage and got 7 kills. And that was an Ace Tanker award for I Be the One True Nub. Anyway, Max, thanks for sending that one in. Max's Twitch live stream and YouTube channel, of course, linked down below in the video description. Just before we finish, though, I wanted to draw your attention to a very bizarre incident in chat around about halfway through the battle. Some of you may have noticed it when you were watching the video, but just in case you didn't, I'm going to draw your attention to it here. The Cromwell on the team got himself killed around about halfway through the battle, and then for some bizarre reason decided to blurt out his love for a random 1980s cheesy kids cartoon character. I don't know why he wants to have sex with Chitara and why he would out himself as a furry in the middle of a World of Tanks battle, but, well, people do the strangest things. At least I think that's what he meant. I'm not entirely sure. That's it for today, folks. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.